just a few hundred feet away from a spot which actually registers in history. Many things over here, of course. But this spot over here, a few bochum, at that time, 48 years ago, we're standing here together, and a thought in our minds as a result of the inspiration of the Rebbe. It is not credited to the Rebbe. It is beginning with him as a result of his lifting us of the golus to the point of seeing what it is that we can do to hasten the geulah. And an idea came into the mind that we find a very interesting law. And the law is explained that on the day of Hanukkah, on a certain day on the calendar, at certain point, wasn't always there, at certain point it was registered, a moment, a very, very critical moment, and that was that our forefathers were faced with a attack by the surrounding people in the entire world that threatened their very existence, material, physically, and primarily spiritually. And a group stood up to fight and confront them, and thereby was a moment when they came out in victory after many, many battles, and losing so much, they came out into victory. And this is the victory of that moment that we are celebrating, and we are calling it Hanukkah. The Rambam, Maimonides, states the following, that Hanukkah is celebrating a moment in which finally we stood up and we were victorious against the attempt by the opposition. The entire position to destroy us stood up to them. And therefore, the halacha is that since that moment, not before, since that moment, we were called on by the Chachamim, by our sages, not to allow that moment to be forgotten or to be ignored. But that moment should be remembered by a process of marking. And one of the marks of the moment was that what we do, the positive, should remind us of what it is that we were faced by. And therefore it says the following, the Gemara, that on Hanukkah, this was a time when a group of our forefathers stood up against everyone around them. And they were able to fight them and overcome them. And therefore we were ordered by a eternal mitzvah, as other mitzvahs, commandments are. And that is to mark the day on which our forefathers came out victorious of that attempt to destroy us and dispel us. And they stood up to them, and they were victorious and emerged victorious. So therefore, What is the Rambam? What is the language that the Rambam, the Maimonides, discloses as a statement? Hanukkah is a time when we light a menorah. Light a menorah to remember that moment and that event. But interesting, where do we write this menorah? We write the menorah on the door of our home, because that is where we have the right to control is our home and the surroundings of our home. But outside, it says our Pesach Pesach, we write the menorah, our Pesach Pesach on the door of our home, our Pesach Pesach bachutz, outside. We write it on the door because that's the only right we have to do what we're supposed to do. But we do it on the outside. This is the moment where we mark our victory against the outside. Our Pesach Pesach b'chutz. And this is a battle that was won then and is being